Mr. Nightspyder here, and today I wanted to talk about the state of gaming. There was a lot of pushback, a lot of vocal groups back when the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series came out, I believe in 2020. I think that's the year it came out. And the big pushback at the time was games going from $59.99 to $69.99, that being the standard, the new standard of pricing. This past month, and I know this news is somewhat old, but I did want to add my 2 cents to it because there's a lot of politics involved. I don't want to get into that. But long story short, Xbox and Nintendo for the Switch 2 are talking about moving their games up to $80. And when I say talking about it, I don't necessarily mean that there's speculation that it's happening. It is going to happen, right? Nintendo, all their flagship titles, Mario, Zelda, Donkey Kong, whatever, those games are all going to release at $80. Microsoft, on the other hand, they already established their price point back in 2020. They too are also bumping their games from $70 to $80. And they're not even starting a new console generation. They're just moving up. And the part I guess I would say that I find most irritating about that is the majority of gamers nowadays purchase their games digitally. So you have Nintendo, Sony, let's throw them in there, Microsoft. They literally have no distribution costs for all their digital sales. And keep in mind, the overwhelming majority of sales that they make nowadays are digital. So they're not paying for the packaging. They're not paying to press the disc. They're not paying for shipping. People are just click from their console and downloading the game. So what cost are they passing on if there's no distribution or packaging or planning? That's the first irritation that comes to mind. Nintendo is moving to this new thing where they have game keys. So instead of having the whole game on a little Switch cartridge, you're just going to have like a portable CD key that you plug into your console, recognizes that you own the games, and it downloads it. So another way to for them to save money, but if you're a collector or if you just like having all the data, on a disc or on a cartridge, sucks for you, right? And here's the opportunity for most consumers. Most people, they are faced with data caps. So if even if you're, let's say someone were to use their unlimited data and they were to hotspot it from their phone, right? Most carriers have a data cap where once you hit a threshold, that it throttles. It throttles back. So you're going to have experience much slower rates. If you're dealing with some of the cable providers, and even some fibers, you're going to have data caps. Like, hey, you reached your threshold. So if you're downloading, let's say the average game nowadays is 75 to 100 gigs, right? If you're downloading that much data on your console, you download 10 games, like you're already over your cap for the month. And that doesn't include if you're playing online and things of that nature. So that's a real bummer. That's a real bummer that these prices are going up. And I know there's a back end cost, right? The developer cost is probably going up, right? Whatever software or development goes in the background, I'm sure that cost is going up as we deal with inflation. But considering what is being saved from just digital distribution alone, it is just incredibly irritating, right? I saw this here. So May 1st, they're talking about, oh dear God. May 1st, they're talking about Microsoft raising the prices of all their Xbox consoles. So if you look here, let's see. Here we go. The Series S is going to $380. The Series S 1 terabyte, $430. The Xbox Series X, $550. Xbox Series X, $600. And the Series X 2 terabyte to $730. Wow. Let that sink in for a second. Now, I think Microsoft is outright foolish for raising their prices. And I understand tariffs and labor and supply chain issues. I can understand all that. But they are already the last, I guess, third placed in the console wars. They're already, like, I think it's, let's see, it's 4-1. Every PlayStation is 4-1 or 5-1 for every Xbox console sold. So they're already behind, and they're raising these prices, which is crazy to me. This is just, that just kind of shows where their head's at. They're the largest publisher and game distributor now once they acquired Activision Blizzard. So let's take a look at this here. So if you look at Essential, when I first started on the PlayStation in the PlayStation 4 generation, I believe it was $49.99 for the basic year annual subscription, right? Since the PlayStation 4, so about 8-9 years, the price jumped up to $80, right? And this is the base version. This is just to play online. If you were to go extra, the annual is $135, and if you were to go premium, it's $159. Let that sink in. You cannot cloud save your data without having one of these memberships. So even I'm giving all this criticism to Nintendo and Microsoft, Sony is still crazy in their own way. I purchased a home 3 years ago. I canceled all my console subscriptions the first year. They let them expire. And I haven't needed it since. If I need to play games, I could play multiplayer on my PC. That's where I live in now. So those are my thoughts. I just think there's a lot of craziness going on in the gaming industry when it comes to pricing. What's going to happen eventually is that you're going to see the bubble burst, right? I have 3 younger kids, one preteen, 8 and 4, right? And they primarily play on a tablet. It could be a cheap little, like, Amazon Fire tablet. It could be an iPad. It could be a Galaxy tablet or Android tablet, whatever the case may be. You could get those for under $200, and you're not paying a subscription fee to play games. My kids play Roblox. They do play Minecraft. Other kids play Fortnite and all that other jazz. This whole game industry is going to crash and burn when the generation of console gamers is done. They're going to lose. All these kids are just going to play on their tablets and PCs. That's just how it's going to go. But that's been my thoughts. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, please like, please comment. And this is Mr. Nightspyder signing out. Have a good one. Peace.